trying on a dress with her mom. Seems like a pretty normal situation. But there was something about that dress. It just didn't fit right. It didn't look right. So she went with her mother to get it tailored. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. It reached a point where the tailoress asked to see the girl in person, insisting that the measurements just had to be correct at this point. "It's not the dress, ma'am, it's the girl," she was told. That there wasn't anything wrong with the dress, but something wrong with her. That girl was me. And after meeting with 4 different doctors and 3 months of failed cryotherapy, I was finally diagnosed with scoliosis. For those who don't know, scoliosis is a spinal disorder. The spine is made up of multiple bones called vertebrae that are connected by elastic tissues called fibrocartilage. Scoliosis is when your vertebrae form a curved line in an S or C shape instead of being straight. So these vertebrae are what hold you up. They hold up your entire spine. They allow you to bend, stretch, balance, and even walk. Small curves usually don't cause problems, but a curve that gets worse means worse for the patient. Very large curves can impair heart functions, lung functions, and other major organs. However, I didn't know that 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I was simply shown this, my X-ray picture. I was told I needed to get immediate surgery. The surgeon that diagnosed me at the time thought it would be a good idea to tell me all the things that could go wrong in a spinal fusion surgery. Which is not few, let me tell you. A spinal fusion surgery is one of the most major surgeries in the medical industry. Risk number 1, paraplegia. In other words, getting paralyzed in the lower body and legs. Risk number 2, excessive blood loss, which for an anemic person was not reassuring. Number 3, infection, failure of the spine to fuse, rods breaking, screws dislodging, and the list goes on. And honestly, he lost me at paralyzed. All I could think about was, you'll never walk down the aisle, you'll never walk up to get your diploma, never, never, never. And in that moment, I took a glance at my mother. And it was just a glance, I could have imagined it, but there sat my mother with tears in her eyes. There sat the woman whom I thought was the strongest in the world with eyes filled to the brim. And that was when I decided to put up my big girl facade. I took a deep breath, I pretended to be cool, calm, and collected, keyword being pretended. I looked at the doctor and I put a smile on my face and I said, "No worries, I did my research, I know I'm fine." Yes, I did do my research, but in that research I had barely caught a glimpse of what was yet to come. So when we went home that day, my coping mechanism was to just drown myself in research, and I just kept reading and reading and reading until it wasn't enough, until I needed to hear someone real talk about their real life experience. So I resorted to YouTube and I clicked on a video of a girl talking about what she went through. Bad move on my end. I was not in a state to hear a girl suffering of anorexia talk about her failed surgery. I needed someone to tell me that I was gonna be okay. And that was when I finally decided to talk to my mom about it. I bawled my eyes out, admit that I was scared and that I didn't want to do this. My mom worked her magic like moms do and lended me her strength. But I was also told that I had to do physiotherapy before surgery, and I did for about 2 to 3 months. But I was told I had to do physiotherapy before surgery, and I did for about 2 to 3 months. And then came September 17, 2017, surgery day. September 21, I sat up for the first time. And then I started walking, and then I went up the stairs. And then, my favorite one, I went back home. And in order to completely recover, I did physiotherapy 3 times a week and every day at home for 8 months. And then winter break came along and I got to escape reality when we traveled for 2 weeks. When we got back and I went to my checkup, I found out that I was back to square one. That in the span of just 2 weeks, my year-long hard work was gone. That my 365 days of pain were completely useless. That I had to start it all over again. As well as get a back brace. a bulk of plastic killing me and the planet. Seriously, you can barely breathe in that thing. That was when I had reached my lowest. Lots of what's the point thoughts. What's the point in trying if I continue to fail? What's the point in bothering at all if I'm just never gonna get better? So to move on from that dark point in my life to today where I love my experience, I love my scar, I've joined non-profit organizations dedicated to supporting young patients. I've contributed in a scoliosis app research dedicated to helping patients throughout their journey. It's a huge 180, and I was able to achieve this growth when I realized that beginnings don't start at the start of something. Meaning, a new beginning does not require a new day or a new month or a new year. Your new beginning can start whenever you decide for it to start, whenever you get up and decide to make it happen. Because at the end of the day, you're always going to have all this time in your hands, and it's all completely meaningless unless you do something with it. There is no right time. It's what you decide to do with your time that makes it right. Once I decided that this time I'm gonna do it right, that this time I will get better, that's when I really started to recover. When I learned that you must make your beginnings, not wait for them to start.